I'm Rod Kruger and I'm the historian at Kloofendaal Nature Reserve. The park exists because gold was found here back in 1884-85. We're going to go and have a look at the gold mine just now. The mine itself, very much surface. Gold was being brought to the surface then by volcanic action, and it had settled, and then it had been hugely disturbed at a later date. Years ago, when this gold was discovered in Kloofendal, it was discovered by the Geldenhuys family. They had been prospecting up in Eastern Transvaal, and they came to see if there was anything on their property. And they got hold of two brothers living in Pretoria by the name of Struben. And the Strubens came here to have a look and see whether they could find anything of value. And what they found was a small reef running through this area, which they named the Confidence Reef, because they were confident they were going to get very rich very quickly, which in fact didn't work out quite the way they said it would. A lot of gold was left on the surface. In fact, Fred Struben in his diary says he was finding a grain of gold for every grain of sand, but it didn't run to depth, and after about 50 meters the gold had run out. But it was a link between the people prospecting and finding of the main reef in 1886 in what would become Johannesburg in those years. As far as mining is concerned, the mining was very, very primitive. It was done by hand chiseling holes into the walls, drilling holes for dynamite. Then dynamite would be placed into these holes, and everybody would get out of here very quickly, and they would light the fuses, and the dynamite would explode and blow the rock out. So once they had blasted the rock out, they would then clean it up with pick and shovel. To this day you can still see the marks of the picks on the walls, beautifully shaped tunnels done by professionals. It would not collapse. There's no wood in these mines, and the tunnels have stood all these 140 years. Gold bearing ore was taken down by ox wagon to a stamp mill which the Struben brothers had bought from England and brought over here, and there it was reduced into powder and run over copper plates. It's a very crude process, and a lot of the gold went to waste. In fact, one of the reasons why our modern mine dumps are being reworked was to reclaim the gold that these people had wasted. But the gold was run over copper plates and they were retorted, and gold was taken from that. So I'm sitting here at the end of the Confidence Reef. Here is the where they were digging the gold out, the end of the reef. You can see the pick marks quite clearly on the wall, but there is no gold left at all. They have really cleared these mines thoroughly. The Strubens soon found that the gold didn't go to any depth, and other things were happening. The main reef had been discovered in 1886, and they moved on from these places at that time. Today, the park exists because of the mines. When the city of Roodepoort was developing the area for housing, the ladies at the Roodepoort Museum became very active in trying to save these mines, and the result was that this park was proclaimed as a public area in 1978. It was set up in two sections. There's an amphitheatre at the bottom where they hold public plays and shows, and then the nature reserve itself, which contains large amounts of small animals. And we have a lot of tours. We have a lot of small tours taking children and adults up to see birds and flowers and all sorts of things. And of course the gold mine here at the Kloofendaal Nature Reserve.